Well, summer's almost here. I really gotta get my ass off the ground and finish off this chicken coop. If you watch part 2 of my coop build, then you'll remember this wall. This is the window we're going to use to access the nest boxes and grab those eggs from the chickens once they've laid them. What I need to do now is fill this in and make a door to cover the window opening. What you may not have noticed is that I cut these sections out of each piece of cedar paneling, so when I put this window together, all the wood grain's going to line up and create a really stealthy look. After lining up all the pieces, I'm going to glue on this backer board to give it some support, and then I'm going to nail it all together with my brad nailer. Time to line it up and see if it fits. Looking pretty good. I'm going to trim a little slot for the hinges to go into and then screw these in now. You'll notice the red paint matches the red paint on the boards I used for the flooring of the coop. Yep, always reusing stuff over here. Alright, hinges are all screwed in. Let's see how this lines up. Oh, man. With the added thickness from the hinges, my door no longer fits. It's just a bit too tall. So, time to take it off, line up my trusty jig, and trim it down just a little bit. Fingers crossed this time it fits. Yes, like a glove. This barrel bolt will keep it super secure and keep those darn predators out. For the sake of predator security, I'm also finding that these doors aren't closing as tightly as I'd like them. I'm gonna add a couple barrel bolts here as well, and it'll keep it nice, snug, and secure. With the outer doors secured, it's time to move my focus inside the coop. I'll need to build a door here, but before I can do that, I need to build a ramp so that the chickens can get up and into the safety of the coop. These are some cedar offcuts from an old fencing project. We had these laying around. They're not large pieces, but they're large enough. The ramp's only about 10 inches wide, so we don't need a lot of wood here, and this is a great way to use up old scrap lumber. I'm ripping this piece of wood down the middle now, and I'll use the two pieces to act as a backing support for the ramp. After every couple boards, I'm adding a larger 2x2 chunk. This will act as a sort of a step to help the chickens get up the ramp. Depending on how steep your ramp is, you might need more or less of these. As well, it depends on the breeds of your chicken. Some of the larger breeds, or ones that don't fly as much, like Buff Orpingtons, appreciate the steps to help them get into the coop. Time to test it out. Yeah, it works, I think. Next up, I'm moving on to the inner coop door. This is the same idea as the door I made for the nest boxes. Just gonna line up the pieces, add some backer boards, and brad nail it all together. Haha, yes, I love it when things fit. And another barrel bolt for good measure. Although I've tried to keep things tidy as I go, there's inevitably a bit of mess that accumulates during the building process. Well, it's time to clean this all up because we want to get the chickens inside. My trusty helper will help me get down a layer of pine shavings here. We're going to go with the deep litter method of bedding, which allows their poo and their droppings to sort of compost in place. We'll just keep piling on the pine shavings as we go.
You're gonna go in? Yeah!
Alright, before the chickens go in, it's time to kid test it.
Hi!
You in the chicken coop?
I'm here!
And now for the birds.
She doesn't want to go in.
Oh no!
What?
It's trying to jump out the window!
That's the chicken.
Make a video of the chicks. It's funny. Wanna see?
Well, the chickens spent the first night in the coop, and it went off without a hitch. But they were just sleeping on the floor, which isn't the most comfortable position for them as they continue to grow and get larger. So what I'm going to do next is build some roosting bars for them to perch on and sleep on. I'm just using some scrap 2x4 here to create some supports for the roosting bars. Some people use 2x4s for making their roosting bars, but those are nearly 10 bucks a piece here where I live, and for something that's just going to be pooped on, it doesn't really make sense. What I'm going to use instead are some round tree branches that I found in my yard. These are about 4 inches in diameter as well, and they'll give it a nice curvature for the chickens to wrap their feet around. This Douglas fir was dead standing in the back corner of our property, so it needed to come down anyways, and I think it'll make perfect roosting bars. Since I used the hole saw to pre-cut the notches in these roosting bar brackets, the bars will just slide right in, and they'll be held in place by their weight alone. Simple as that. And just like that, my chicken coop project is done. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was about 6 weeks of work on and off, and I was really lucky to be able to use recycled materials to keep the cost low. The total cost for this project was about $500, and it's the perfect size home for my 12 birds. I can't wait to see them grow up, and I'm really looking forward to getting those first eggs. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. We've got a lot more great content coming out, including the rest of the chicken coop build, as well as more videos about homesteading, slow living, and other fun projects around the property.